Are we ready to start or anything? Okay.
Could be future. Bhante, we are going to start our class. So please, begin our class. Starting our class by saying Namo Tassa 3 times.
Okay. Let's start our today's Abhidhamma study, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Namo Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay. Okay, welcome back to Abhidhamma class. Today we are going to study Arūpāvacara Citta. As we are following the sequence of explanation about the consciousness in the Abhidhamma Sangha. There, the consciousness are divided into different types according to the plane of existence. You may remember the plane of existence. So studying the lowest plane of existence are sensual sphere. Do you remember how can we call the sensual sphere in Pali?
Kamavachara.
Very good. Kamavachara. So if we are referring to the sphere or plane of existence, we can add bhumi. Kamavachara bhumi. That is plane of existence. Then the higher than the Kamavachara, what is that?
Mahagada.
Mahagada. That for the plane of existence, how can you say?
Rūpāvacara.
Right.
Fine material sphere.
Of course.
And immaterial sphere.
Yes. So we can say the Rūpāvacara bhumi and Arūpāvacara bhumi.
Bhumi.
So Kamavachara bhumi, how many?
54.
Right. That is Citta. So for the plane of existence, how many Kamavachara bhumi? For spheres, sensual sphere, plane of existence.
11.
Right. 11. And for the Rūpāvacara, how many?
20.
Rūpāvacara?
Rūpāvacara.
Well, or 4.
For
16.
Right.
16.
Yeah, we got it. 16. So 11 and 16. How many?
27.
7, right?
27.
And for the Arūpāvacara,
4.
4, right? Altogether, we got
31.
31 plane of existence. Yeah, this is very important information. We cannot forget it, right? So we have to repeat it again and again. So Guy Uchishin remind me to not to go faster. So we need to review so that we make sure we understand. And also, if we review again and again, we can keep the information, proper information in our mind. And if we continue, the information will remain in our mind, our memory. Otherwise, after class finish, all gone. Right? So you will ask me again. So one day, repeat again. Actually, I have responsibility to ask you back and to make sure you remember. Not only just understand, just understand, okay, understand is good. But after understanding, if you not practicing to review and forget, for Abhidhamma, if you forget the former lesson, the next lesson become harder and harder. If you remember, the next lesson become easier. This is the way. So we need to review occasionally. Okay, so now we review already the 31 plane of existence. It's not that difficult. So for the consciousness we have studied, let's see how many sense-sphere consciousness.
54.
Right.
54.
54, and yeah, and everyone can answer, so that you encourage yourself. You encourage yourself to be active learner. It's just if you switch off your video and then just doing something around, you cannot focus on what we are discussing, what we are learning. Then, although you are repeating many times, only a few information you can get. Okay, so I would like to encourage you to be active learner and trying to follow our conversation. Then with the 54, how many types we can classify? In the 54 sense-sphere consciousness, according to Abhidhamma Lecture.
12 unwholesome, 18,
yes,
12 unwholesome,
Good.
18 rootless,
Bless.
and 24
Beautiful.
beautiful Citta.
Yeah, sense-sphere beautiful, right?
Sincere, beautiful Citta.
Yes, beautiful and non-beautiful. If we divide it, how many consciousness are not beautiful?
30
30, of course. Akusala, 12, and Ahituka, 18.
18.
Yeah, they have a specific reason to say they are not beautiful. Yeah. So how many Arūpāvacara consciousness?
15.
15.
Right, 15. Then okay, so it's got you already review, and also it's good, that I'm happy to see you all are discussing by yourself, so maybe next time I may come earlier to see how you discuss. And review is necessary, and also discussion is more effective. Now if you after you seeing by seeing the slide I have given, and then if you mention how you understand, how I had explained, not only my explanation, you can add your understanding also. It will be more beneficial, more effective in discussion. And the giving the lecture is not enough to make you understand. I think, although I try my best to explain, I think it's still not enough. So you need to share your understanding, and you need to listen others' understanding at the same time. Then you can clarify. Later on, you become Abhidhamma teacher, I hope. And many of you will become a Abhidhamma teacher, or within 2 years, you can become a Abhidhamma teacher. Not only you understand Abhidhamma, my expectation is you become a Abhidhamma teacher who teach in English. Okay, so today we are going to study Immaterial-sphere consciousness. Immaterial is Arupa, as we have translated Rupa, materialities. So immaterial is Arupa. So that Arupa, comes from na. The word Pali word na is negative meaning. So objection, if you want to make objection, and you say you use the word na, is absent or opposite, like the akusala. And the akusala, so originally kusala, come with the word na change to become akusala. In this case, the opposite of kusala is akusala. But here in the case of arupa, so here also rupa and na and rupa come together, na change to become arupa. Here not the opposite, just the absence of materiality. In the plane of existence, there are 4 planes of existence. In this plane of existence, you cannot find any materiality. Oh, that's why you say by the one na, arupa. This plane of existence are arupa because we cannot find any materialities. Then avachara, as we have said, they mostly arise. So most of the time, these consciousness arise in the plane of existence where we cannot find the materialities, which is called arupa bhumi. That's why these consciousness are called Arūpāvacara consciousness. So these are Arūpāvacara consciousness. Okay, so for the rupa, if someone practice meditation, the samatha meditation, focusing on the specific meditation object, his mind become concentrated. Now, as we have explained, focusing on the preliminary object, which is called the sign nimitta, parikama nimitta. Focusing on that, concentration become stronger. Then preliminary sign to learning sign. Then still the mental development continue. After the learning sign to counterpart sign. Up to that situation, that practice, the mental state are Kamavachara consciousness. Because it is practicing on the right object. So Kamavachara kusala, you can say the Kamavachara kusala. In the sense-sphere beautiful consciousness, 8 consciousness are Kamavachara consciousness. There, in the yogi's mind, in the meditator's mind, there's sense-sphere consciousness arise. One process after another process come. So in this way, concentration becomes stronger and stronger, focusing on the Paṭipatti nimitta. Then when the jhana factors, we've said the jhananga, vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata, come to the certain level and imbalance. The concentration level is promoted to the jhana, or not, it's not no more in the sense-sphere level. It's promoted to the mahagata, which is called the Rūpāvacara. So it's called the jhana. After the attainment of jhana, first jhana, he practiced that first jhana in 5 ways of mastery. In previous lesson, I have already explained that. The 5 ways of mastery. Then become expert, and concentration also stronger. Then he dropped the vitakka, the jhana factors, because there is gross factors or the rough factors. By the work of the vitakka, it seems a little bit busy. So concentration is interrupted. Not compared to the second jhana. So vitakka drop. No more vitakka. At the time, that concentration is recognized as the second jhana concentration. It has only 4 factors, starting from vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. After that, by the practicing to develop concentration, again, vichara drop. Then third jhana. It becomes the third jhana. Only 3 factors, piti, sukha, ekagata. Then again become the piti drop. So only sukha and ekagata, the 4th jhana. Then again it's promoted. So sukha changed to upekha, upekha, ekagata. The same, the two factors, but the feeling is different. Sukha to upekha. Upekha is finer than the sukha. So it becomes the 5th jhana. After completion of 5th jhana, and he need to practice to be mastery in the 5th jhana again and again. Then he become a spot in the Arūpāvacara jhana. So if he wish to continue, he need to change the object. He need to choose the way to promote his concentration up to the immaterial-sphere level, immaterial level. So today we're going to study about the immaterial-sphere consciousness. So here, and we already explained the 4 plane of existence or 4 realms. So 4 realms, there's totally transcendence. You know, the maturities are already transcendence, no more maturities. So only consciousness and mental factor remains. So consciousness is also mentalities. Mental factors, because the consciousness and mental factors are arising together. Without mental factor, consciousness cannot arise. So at least 7 must be accompanied. Then without the consciousness, mental factor cannot arise. They arise together. That's why if we say, oh, we can find consciousness, there must be mental factor together arising. So in that realm of existence, the consciousness and mental factors only arise in the process, mental process. We cannot find any matters or maturities. That is called Arupa Bhumi. There are 4 Arupa Bhumi. Okay, so we will explain to remember the name after that. Now we will say about the consciousness. So here the consciousness pertaining to the immaterial plane of existence is called the Arūpāvacara Citta. But as I say, all the consciousness has the same characteristic of knowing the object. The way we can classify the consciousness, sometimes according to their associated mental factor, sometimes their function. So for the function, you know, the eye consciousness or ear consciousness, although they have the same mental factors, accompanying mental factor, we can classify according to their function. Yeah, sometimes we can classify according to the plane of existence where they arise, mostly arise. Here, Arūpāvacara Citta, although when the meditator practice in the sensual sphere plane of existence or time material plane of existence, their Arūpāvacara Citta arise, but mostly arise in the Arupa realm of existence. So they are named in this way. So here, Arūpāvacara Citta, the name of Arūpāvacara Citta comes from the name of Arupa Bhumi, because they are pertaining to there. They are arising, mostly arising there. That types of consciousness are given in this way, in this name. Okay, so let's continue for the classification. So before we go into classification, basically, as I said, the Ahetuka Citta is quite complicated because that follow the classification according to the function, But the sense pure beautiful consciousness, Rūpāvacara, Arūpāvacara, even the Lokuttara, not complicated, very simple. Cause and effect relationship. Here, wholesome as a cause, resultant as an effect. So cause produce the result, karma and result. So what about the function? Okay, so when that types of consciousness arise in the Puthujana, which is translated as worldling or ordinary person, or trainee seeker who has not yet attained the arhatship on the way of practicing. And it's called the seeker. If that consciousness arises in these two types of individual, Puthujana or seeker, it's called the kusala, because it has the potency to produce the result. When the consciousness arises in the arhat, because arhat does not have the defilements, any more defilements, so already remove defilement. The karma, the action, by the absence of the support of defilements, the action cannot produce the result in the next life or the after that. That is called the functional, just the functional. It just performs the function, not producing the result as a vipaka. So it is regarded as the kiriya. So in this way, wholesome, kusala, resultant, vipaka, and functional. In this way, we can basically classify three types. So three types of Arūpāvacara Citta. One type is kusala, that arise in the process of Puthujana and seeker. Then second type is vipaka, resultant, which is produced by the kusala, and functional, just arise in the arhat mind. Okay, so this is not difficult after classification several times, and we easily remember. Here, I like to emphasize the Arūpāvacara Vipaka consciousness. So wholesome and functional. So where we can find the Puthujana and seeker is possible, the wholesome consciousness. And where we can find the arhat, so arhat mind, the arupa kriya will arise. But for the resulting consciousness, we need more information to have the specific understanding here. Arūpāvacara resultant in relation to the function that perform. They just perform the Paṭisandhi Bhavanga Tuti. Paṭisandhi is the rebirth at the moment. Recently, when he born in any plane of existence, we call that is Paṭisandhi. The last moment is called Tuti. Between that, the same types performing the function of the fetters, just to be a fetters of the life, is called Bhavanga. So you will learn all together 14 functions are mentioned in the Abhidhamma Lecture. Among them, 3 functions can be performed by the Arupa resultant consciousness, Arupa Vipaka. So that resultant consciousness can perform these 3 functions only in the Arupa realm of existence, because that is the Paṭisandhi or Bhavanga or duty of the Arupa Brahma. So this arises only in the Arupa plane of existence, Arupa specific Arupa plane of existence. Okay, it doesn't matter if you cannot keep all information. It doesn't matter just to say, okay, 3 types. You can remember 3 types: kusala, vipaka, and kriya. Okay, can you guess how many consciousness can be kusala, arupa kusala? How many?
4.
4, right? Because you have had a 12 Arūpāvacara Citta. If we divide it into 3 groups, it should be evenly. Each group belongs to 4. Okay, doesn't matter. So let's see. Here in this slide, I mentioned the objects, contemplation, and attainment. To count the name of Arūpa jhana, let's see from the 3rd column. that attainment is called the jhana. As I said, after attainment, having attainment of the Arūpāvacara consciousness and making mastery for the fifth jhana, he continued to attain the Arupa jhana, the meditator. Then the first jhana is called Agasa Nanjayatana jhana. This is the first Arūpāvacara jhana. And second one, Viññāṇañjayatana jhana. The third one, Akinchanyayatana jhana. The next one, Nivasanya Nasanyayatana jhana. But for those who just start, it's difficult, even to pronounce, it's not easy. Okay, so let's make easy. How can we make easy to pronounce? Yeah, Agasa. Only you just need to remember Agasa. And second one, Viññāṇa. And the third one, Akinca. Akinca. So become Akinca. Then the last one, Nivasanya Nasanya. Nivasanya Nasanya. By the meaning, if you understand meaning, it's easier to understand, to remember. Okay, Agasa Nanja Ayatana, how is come? Actually, the Pali word changed. Agasa Ananta Ayatana. So Ayatana is base. Ayatana is base. As we already explained the 12 types of ayatana, all are base. And okay, so if you keep the translation, ayatana as a base, okay, what is the base? Here, the object is base. Object is base. What can be the object? Agasa is object. Agasa is space. So here we say that space. Space, Agasa, is object. And that's why, so when the meditator come to practice for the attainment of Arupa jhana, he need to focus on the space. The object must be space. And how he need to develop in the mental development. Here, Ananto Agasa. By focusing on the space, Agasa, he keeping in mind Ananto Agasa. Ananta means infinite. Infinite. Oh, space, if we can extend, and the power of mind, space is endless. That's why infinite space. By focusing on the space, he developed infinite space. So the space is 10. Then, because the mind and object are connected, without the object, the mind cannot arise. The power also come in connection. So when the object is extended to the infinite level, the power of mind also become infinite. And that development is called the attainment of Agasa Nanjayatana jhana. So Agasa and Ananta coming together, Agasa Ananta. And we combine together. Agasa Ananta, Agasa Ananta. If we combine with the Viññāṇa, Ananta, Viññāṇa, Ananta. Like this. And with the ayatana, it changed Agasa Nanjayatana, because this is just a change in the Pali combination. This is the Pali language. That's why at the beginning we know that Agasa is space, Ananda is infinite. Coming together, Agasa and Ananda, Agasa Ananda. But with the combination Agasa Nanja, then ayatana Agasa Nanja Yatana. Then Viññāṇañja Yatana, like this. So in this way, the name becomes easier. Otherwise, it is very difficult and complicated. What is the meaning? I don't know. Okay, so if you cannot follow the meaning, still the name will be difficult. If you think, even to pronounce is very difficult, it's hard to continue. Yeah, so make yourself to be familiar with the Pali pronunciation. You may think, okay, if I know this is Arupa jhana, no need to memorize. Okay, no problem. But the problem will come into your study process. Oh, very difficult to pronounce. I cannot pronounce. Also, I cannot keep the meaning in my mind and go. That later on you think, okay, akusala part is okay. Loba, dosa, moha, not that difficult. And the other quite difficult. And you just remember Agasa Citta, right? Actually, so keeping the Agusala in the mind is not really good. Huh? So better to learn more about the Kusala and the higher consciousness. Then you are inspired. Okay, I know already. So I just need to improve my practice to attain them. So, okay, now you try to pronounce that. Agasa Nanjayatana. Then Vinya Nanjayatana. Akinchanya Yatana. Nivasanya Nasanya Yatana. Okay, let's talk about this Akinchanya because that's why just Vinyana changed, not so difficult. Here Akinchanya is also come from Akinchana, as I said, the Akinchana. Akinchana is nothing is remain. Nothing is remain Akinchana. Then nothing it remains. So that's why we will connect with the nothing here, the one nothing. And then with the ayatana, it's become akinchanya yatana. Then because the last one, nivasanya nasanya yatana, nivasanya, niva and na, both case. These two are negative meaning. Niva, na. Niva also the combination of na and iwa. So niva and na both they are the meaning of in the meaning of objection. Okay, so nivasanya and nasanya ayatana, nivasanya nasanya ayatana chana. Okay, so this way you can pronounce full attainment of Arupa jhana. Okay, let's get back to the practicing process. As I has mentioned that if yogi trying to attain the first Arupa jhana, which is called Agasa Nanja Yatana jhana, he must already attain the Arūpāvacara jhana after the fifth jhana. It means he must already expert in all material jhana, Arūpāvacara jhana. Without the attainment of Arūpāvacara jhana, he cannot practice Arupa jhana. So now you understand how. So if someone just say, okay, I skip the Arūpāvacara jhana and I practice directly to Arupa jhana, no, it is not the way. So according to the Theravada Buddhist Abhidhamma, and the practice come through in this way. So the yogi who wish to attain the Arupa jhana, he must be already attain the Arūpāvacara jhana and must be a spot in the fifth jhana, the highest one. Okay, after after being a spot at fifth jhana by 5 mastery, he can continue. So let's talk about how he can continue. Here, as I say, the object must be Agasa space. So what is the space? There's some I have read this. Some are thinking, okay, space is very easy, and just looking at the sky and we can see the space. Well, they are also endless, and I can apply this, but actually not that space. That is not that Agasa. This Agasa is called the Kasinokati Magasa in Pali. If you don't remember, doesn't matter, just you can replay our recording. Kasinokati Magasa is mean the Kasina and Ogata Agasa. So Kasina has mentioned that there are 10 kinds of kasina as a meditation sign, meditation device, specifically recognized, at least in the mind. Sometimes that can make purposely, and sometimes if mind is powerful enough, just take in the mind a specific area of the earth, specific area of the water. Then it can become meditation object, meditation sign. These are called the kasina. So you can see the previous lesson. There are 10 types of kasina. Okay, so the one of the kasina is called Agasa kasina. Agasa kasina, focusing on the space, but that cannot be applied in this case. If we skip or if we remove their space kasina from the list, there are 9 kasina remain in the list. If meditator practice any of 9 kasina, focusing on that, on the kasina, and by the development of the the concentration level, the kasina at the beginning, parikama nimitta, after that, ugaha nimitta, landing side, then become patibhaga nimitta. So if you if we follow the base of the kasina, these are made by the materialities, even art or water or wind, like this, and white or any color. Those are related to the materialities. So kasina, at the level of the Patibhaga nimitta, as we have discussed that, the Patibhaga nimitta, that become concept, the pure concept. But before that, related to materialities. The concept, we can say the concept that based upon the materialities, because at the beginning, the practice started with the materialities. Okay, so anyhow, the meditator, when he could develop the concentration in the certain level, the kasina become Patibhaga nimitta. Then, because his purpose is to attain the Arupa jhana, he needs to cut off the connection with the materialities. So, focusing on the Patibhaga nimitta, the concentration becomes stronger. In the certain level, it's not pay attention on Patibhaga nimitta anymore. Instead of Patibhaga nimitta, that place become space. Because the Patibhaga nimitta take the certain area of his mind, then if he is not paying attention on that, that is mind connect to the space. That is called the space become the object. What kind of space? It's not the ordinary space. It is the removal, the space due to the removal of Patibhaga nimitta related to the kasina. Okay, all the way, if you are not understanding this process, okay, what is that? Every space we can practice like this. Also can misunderstand. So this is the way how it's mentioned in the practice. So meditator have to start with any of 9 kasina except Agasa kasina. This is the beginning. Then the kasina sign come to the level of Patibhaga nimitta. At that time, if you're thinking that, oh, how can I overcome? Oh, no, this is not, the applicable with our ordinary things. This comes through the practice. So the practitioner know how to descend, how to go beyond, not paying attention on the Patibhaga nimitta after that, and the mind touch to Agasa. If everyone easily know, very easy to attain the Arupa jhana, but not that easy. Not that easy. So, but anyway, this is the process, how the concentration level is developed. So not paying attention on the Patibhaga nimitta, you reach to the Agasa. That is called the Kasino Gati Magasa. That can be the object of Arupa jhana. So transcending on that stage, touching to the Agasa and the development, keeping in mind infinite space, and the mind become powerful enough to say Agasa Nanjayatana jhana. This is the first attainment of Arupa jhana. Okay, so I think if you can repeat and you can make clear, and sometimes maybe need to write down to make sure. Anyway, so let's continue. After the attainment of Arupa jhana, first jhana, which is, I call it Agasa Nanjayatana jhana. And so let's continue for the next step. So what is the object? Let's see. So here, the object is Vijnana. Vijnana, which translated as consciousness. Vijnana is consciousness. So Vijnana consciousness, similar to the Citta here. He just pay attention on the first Arupa jhana, Agasa Nanjayatana Citta. That is called Vijnana. Focusing on the first Immaterial-sphere consciousness, he developed his mind, keeping in the mind in this way. Ananta Vijnana. Ananta Vijnana. So the objects must be first Arupa jhana. Without the attainment of first Arupa jhana, he cannot continue to second. After the attainment of first Arupa jhana, okay, already disappear. Then the mental development, keeping in mind, that consciousness has the nature, and keeping in mind, and development is that infinite consciousness. Because consciousness itself have the specific period of is arising moment, dissolution moment. After arising, it must be passed away. So there must be arising moment and dissolution moment. But because the object of the consciousness, the first attainment, Arupa consciousness, is infinite space. The consciousness also regarded, this is connected to the infinite space. We can say this is infinite consciousness. By taking this meaning in the mind, he focused first Arupa consciousness. Development is infinite consciousness, again and again, repeating. Then the mind concentrated and concentration developed. Then he attained the second Arupa jhana. Okay, so different, you have to know the object is infinite space. At that time, he attained the first Arupa jhana. When the first Arupa jhana become object, then he attained the second Arupa jhana. That's why it is called the Vijnana Jayatana jhana. Then if he wished to develop for the next step, not paying attention all the the first Arupa jhana, he just focused on the concept. So what is the concept? After the dissolution moment, so the consciousness, every consciousness after arising, static phase, and dissolution phase, 3 phases. Every consciousness arise, passed away. Before it passed away, is a little bit, if according to its lifespan, although it is fast, very fast, and we can divide it into 3 phases. Upada, Titi, Bhanga. It's called the arising moment and dissolution moment. Between these 2 moments, there is called Titi. Anyway, so when it disappears, if he emphasized on the passes away, still connected to the consciousness. But after the consciousness, nothingness. Like this, if you put in put the cup on the table, then if you remove the cup, there's no more cup. Just now I saw the cup, and then after you remove that cup, there's no more cup. But this is nothingness of the cup there. In the same way, after the dissolution moment, when after disappear, keeping that concept or disappearance, no more remaining. That is concept. So sometimes, if you are not following the explanation and just trying to complain or how it would be, or that is you cannot understand. Later you can complain, or you can just say investigate the meaning. But first you need to learn what is the meaning there according to the theoretical explanation. After understanding, okay, you can discuss and you can investigate, you can complain, anyway you can do it. But if you want to know what is the meaning, you need to follow the sequence of explanation first. Okay, so here, focusing on the nothingness after the first immaterial sphere consciousness disappear, that become concept of nothingness. So focusing on that, the development is come. Nati Genji. Oh, the consciousness is considered as the infinite consciousness. But after the dissolution phase, no more remaining. There's nothingness. Focusing on that Nati Genji, there's nothing whatsoever. And by developing in this way, the concentration level is promoted again. That's called the third Arūpāvacara attain. That Arūpāvacara focus on the Nati Genji. That's why Akinchana. So in connection with the Ayatana, Akinchanya Yatana Jhana, the third one. Okay, after the attainment of third Arūpāvacara, he still continued to practice. Then the object is third immaterial sphere consciousness. Or here you see there, Akinchanya Yatana Citta. So if you see, second jhana also focus on the first jhana. The fourth jhana focus on third jhana. And this focusing on the third jhana, or which the object is Nati Genji, the concept. Then because the object is focusing on the concept of nothingness, is come to very smooth level. That's why when he attained the last jhana, even perception, sanya, is difficult to say. Oh, very fine stage of sanya remain. No gross or rough sanya can be found there. Very smooth. That's why very hard to say, oh, there's sanya. Oh, I think no sanya. But without sanya, it is impossible, because sanya always connected to the consciousness. Whenever consciousness arises, sanya arises. So you need to keep this information. Sanya is one of the universal mental factors. One of the universal mental factors. That is why it connected to every type of consciousness. But when consciousness arises, we can say, okay, sanya, there must be sanya. If we say there's no sanya, okay, we understand there's no consciousness at all. Because sanya and consciousness arise together. That is why sanya is regarded one of the universal mental factors. Okay, so for the attainment of Arupa, fourth jhana, the last one, sanya is very fine, very smooth. That's why, okay, so it seems no sanya, niwa sanya. But without sanya, it is impossible. So there must be sanya. Okay, very fine sanya. So the name is given in this way. Niwa sanya, na sanya yatana jhana. Niwa sanya. Gross sanya are not there. But still, na asanya. Na asanya. Asanya is no sanya. No sanya also, it is impossible to arise the consciousness. That's why niwa sanya, na asanya. Na asanya becomes na sanya. So you can divide it. Niwa sanya, one meaning. Na asanya, another meaning. So na asanya also. Asanya is no sanya. no perception. But no perception consciousness, it is impossible. So, okay, so not asanya. There is sanya, but very smooth sanya. This is how this consciousness is given by Niwa Sanya Nasanya name. Okay, to attain the highest Arupa jhana, you need to develop that Santa Metta, Panita Metta, focusing on the third Arupa consciousness. Oh, that is Santa, peaceful. Panita, very nice. So by this development and repeating again and again, keeping in mind, then Niwa Sanyana Sanyarana jhana is attained. Then in this way, the meditator completed 4 Arupa jhana. But sometimes, you know, the explanation, you have never seen, you have never experienced, and not enough knowledge, is harder than the practice, right? So if you introduce the restaurant, okay, this type of food and this types of taste is quite easy, and then just explaining, oh, how delicious, what kind of taste to the people who has no experience and not related to that area. Okay, anyhow, now according to the explanation, through the learning, we know what are the Arupa jhana. Because you need to start from the name to pronounce after that, and you need to identify the specific object and how to contemplate on that object. Then attainment comes. Focusing on the infinite space through the Kasina practice, and the contemplation is Ananda Agasa, then attain the jhana, that is called Agasa Nanjayana jhana. Then second one, focusing on the first Arupa jhana, development through the contemplation of Ananda Vinyanam, then Vinyana Jayana jhana arise. Then focusing on the concept of non-existent or nothingness of the first Arupa jhana, Citta. Development comes through the contemplation of Nati Kenji. There's nothing whatsoever. If you know that person cannot focus on the nothingness, he cannot develop that there's nothing like this. So after the starting level of development and attainment is called Akinjanyayatana jhana. Focusing on the third Arūpāvacara consciousness, contemplating, it is peaceful, it is God, then Niwa Sanyana Sanyarana jhana attain. These are 4 Arupa jhana. If we just explain, okay, let's count the enumeration, it is very easy. If we are not connected to the attainment process, it seems easy, but you don't understand. Just the name come and you repeat again and again, but later on you are not interested and then you give up, okay, very complicated, finish. So there is a process of attainment we can attain through the meditation practice, samatha meditation practice. So this gives the learner encouragement or more interest. That's why, although this part is not that easy to understand, all information may be quite complicated, but I still wish to introduce. Okay, so let's see the translation. The first one I said, Agasa Nanjayana Citta. That is translated, the consciousness pertaining to the base. Here, base is ayatana, to the base of infinite space. Infinite space is Agasa Ananda. Infinite Ananda, space, Agasa. So, Agasa Ananda Ayatana become the pertaining to. There is so Agasa Nanda, Agasa Nanja Yatana Citta. In this way, you can read the translation. So name, translation. So let's read together. Agasa Nanjayana Citta, the consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite space. Vinyananjayana Citta, the consciousness pertaining to the base of infinite consciousness. Akinchanya Yadana Citta, the consciousness pertaining to the base of nothingness. Neva Sanya Nasanya Yadana Citta, the consciousness pertaining to the base of neither perception nor non-perception. Okay, the translation here, neither negative, that's why Neva, perception is Sanya, become Neva Sanya. Nor non-perception, so two negative come. So not asanya, so a also have the negative meaning. That's why not asanya, nor non-perception. So become understandable. So now I think you can practice to memorize. Okay, so if we count it wholesome, 4, resultant 4, functional 4, it becomes 12 Arūpāvacara Citta. Just following the classification is not that difficult, quite easy, but not easy to keep in mind because of lack of the interest. Lack of interest. Now, if you know how related to the practice and attainment, and more interest, and you can keep in mind. Okay, let's see how many Arūpa Citta. So let's see the 3 groups. Each group have the 4 consciousness. 4 consciousness we already counted: Agasa Nanjayana, Vinyananjayana, Akinchanyayana, Nivasanyana Sanyayana. It become 12. So the same, the sequence, the result are the same because it is produced by the wholesome consciousness, kusala. It must be identical with the wholesome kusala. And for the functional, as we have explained, because it arises in the arahats process, does not produce the result for that. And okay, so for the jhana factors, let's see. For the jhana factors, all 4 consciousness, or we can say they're all 12 consciousness, doesn't matter, all. This shows there are only 2 jhana factors, equanimity and one-pointedness. Equanimity is upekha, one-pointedness is what?
Ikegada.
Ikegada, right?
Ikegada.
So what? This is similar to which jhana?
Fifth jhana.
Yes.
5 material jhana.
Okay.
Jhana.
That's why we can see all Arupa jhana are counted in 5th jhana as 5th jhana because there's no 6th jhana, right? So there's no 6th jhana. We have to put anywhere. Okay, so because of the jhana factors are the same as 5th jhana, we can count all Arupa jhana 12 into the 5th jhana. So let's consider how many 5th jhana in Arūpāvacara consciousness.
3.
3, right? Kusala, Vipaka, Kriya, each of them has 1. Then 3. Together with the Immaterial-sphere consciousness, how many 5th jhana?
15.
Right. Yeah. So in the Mahakata consciousness, so the Arūpāvacara and Arūpāvacara together collectively called Mahakata 27, right? Among the Mahakata 27, 5th jhana are 15. So let's count. 1st jhana, how many 1st jhana?
3.
3. Yes. 2nd jhana, 3.
3.
3rd jhana, 3.
3.
4th jhana, 3.
3.
So form of 4 jhana, how many consciousness we can get? Form of 4 jhana,
12.
yes. So 12. Then if we count with the 5th jhana 15, so 12 and 15 become 27 again. Okay, so here, if we counted the Arūpāvacara Citta 15, Arūpāvacara Citta 12, or together we call the sublime consciousness. Okay, Mahakata Citta, sublime consciousness, or a jhana citta. Before that, only sense sphere. Sense sphere is not jhana. So after practicing the sadhana, meditation practice, samatha concentration, samatha practice, the attainment of jhana come. Only 27. So this is called jhana. Then absorption consciousness, it can be attained through the meditative attainments. Then here I already explained that all share the two jhana factors, equanimity and one-pointedness. So Panchama jhana, Arūpāvacara 3, Arūpāvacara 12 become 15 fifth jhana, Panchama jhana. Then let's get before that to make sure the understanding about the consciousness Arupa jhana. Here we are emphasizing Arupa jhana. So for the Arupa jhana practice, two types of object is classified. But if you are thinking that, oh, very difficult, so you just keep in mind, I have to get back here. The object to transcend, that is called the transcendent object. Attainment is to be transcended. And the object to keep in mind is called direct object, alambitava. Two types of object here. In the Arūpāvacara Citta, it's easy. We already identify, okay, focusing on this object and practice, then attain the Arūpāvacara jhana. So only the alambitava object, direct object we can. But for the Arupa jhana, the literature mentioned types. One is to be transcended. To be transcended. That's called the. If someone wish to attain the Arupa jhana, he need to transcend concept of kasina. As long as he keep the concept of kasina in the mind as a Paṭipatti nimitta, he cannot focus on the space. Then he cannot attain the Arupa jhana. So the process can only when he transcend the concept of kasina. The space become the object. So when the space becomes the meditation object, and he can develop concentration up to the attainment of Arupa jhana. That's why the concept of kasina is to be transcended to attain the past Arupa jhana. So if you understand this process, it's okay, everything done. Although it's mentioned 4 kinds, after transcending or going beyond the kasina concept, then reach to the space to take as a meditation sign, then attain Arupa jhana. Without the reaching to the space to take the object cannot arise. Okay, so for the attainment of second Arupa jhana, he need to transcend space. As long as his mind is taking space as it is object, he will remain in the first Arupa stage only. So to reach to the second Arupa jhana, he need to transcend the space. So no more space. Then what is that? Consciousness, the first material. So this already mentioned in the formal explanation. So consciousness must be the consciousness. The first Arupa consciousness must be object. That's why it's direct object. After that, if the meditator wishes to attain the third Arupa jhana, he need to transcend. He need to give up the consciousness of space, first Arupa jhana here, as it is object. So focusing on the concept of nothingness, attain the third Arupa jhana. Then finally, to attain the fourth Arupa jhana, he need to transcend the concept of nothingness and the concept of nothingness, and the third Arupa jhana become object. So here, this is the difference. The others, so the first one is object must be transcended. Okay, just give the information. If you wish to connect, okay, how it can be attained, so you can come there and replay. Or if you are not much interested on that, just just keep the classification and the name and continue, no problem. no problem. Only when you are interested how Arupa jhana are attained in the meditation practice, you get back here. Okay, so let's see how to classify the consciousness. So this usually, if we teach Abhidhamma for basics level, we just mostly emphasize on the enumeration or classification. But for the English speaker and the learner from the West, for them very difficult, or without knowing, without understanding, how can we keep this memorizing? Our Myanmar are very strong intention to memorize because it just inspired by the saddha only. So it's okay for Myanmar or Myanmar learner, it's okay, no problem. They can memorize many things. So for us also, we can memorize. But if we need to understand, if we need to introduce to the Westerner Dhamma friend, we need to explain some meaning at least. Okay, so here let's count. Let's continue to the classification. So in combination of the Arūpāvacara and Arūpāvacara, the consciousness are called sublime consciousness, 27. Mahakata consciousness, 15. Arūpāvacara, Arūpāvacara 12. Okay, so let's see, according to the name or jhana, first jhana 3, we can find only in the 5 material sphere, Arūpāvacara, because Arūpāvacara all are included in 5th jhana. So first jhana 3, second jhana 3, third jhana 3, fourth jhana 3. Then for the 5th jhana, so 3 plus 12 Arupa jhana become 15 already. So this information we already got, but what I wish to explain in this slide is feeling, accompanying feeling. Form a 4th jhana accompanied by Somanasa Vedana, which is called joyful feeling. The last jhana 15 or equanimity. So the mental fetters of the jhana fetter itself is equanimity. Upekha, ekagata. That's why the 15 are equanimity. So in this way, we can identify by way of feeling. For the sublime 27 Mahakata jhana. For Arūpāvacara, how many consciousness are upekha sahagata, accompanied by equanimity? Only in the Arūpāvacara, how many?
3.
Yeah, only 3. 5th jhana 3. So if we talk about the all Mahakata, it becomes 15. Okay, if we consider about the classification by way of feeling up to the Arūpāvacara. So up to the Arūpāvacara, how can we say? Lokiya, right? So Kamavachara, Rūpāvacara, Arūpāvacara, 3 types together, we can say Lokiya. How many Lokiya Citta? Do you remember?
81.
Right, 81. Except Lokotara 8. Now, among the 89 consciousness, 81 consciousness are Lokiya. Now we already done. We already studied the Lokiya 81. So in this lesson, I think we should review. We should review to count. So here, I will give how to count, and then you can make your homework. Yeah, you can review, and by way of here accompaniment fetter. Now I already explained for sublime consciousness. So how about the sense sphere consciousness? Like this. Now you have to check back and you have to calculate. So if we say, okay, how many Somanasa Sahagata in Lokiya 81? Like this. How many Upekha Sahagata in Lokiya 81? And you don't need to answer just now, and you need to answer. And you need to bring, okay, where, how many, and next week we can identify whether you can count or not. Right? Then also how many jnana sampayutta and jnana vibhuta and Ditthigata Samyutta in the Agusala Ditthigata, and the beautiful or no more Ditti, because Ditti is Agusala Mandafeta. It can connect only with the Agusala, not to the beautiful one. So in this way, you can find. So Asankarika and Sasankarika also. Okay, so also if we talk about the Asankarika and Sasankarika, another name comes Sankara Vimutta, because the consciousness now related to classification of prompt and unprompted system. These are counted as a Sankara Vimutta. Vimutta is, going beyond that or free from that. So if we are not counting by that, it's called Vimutta, Sankara Vimutta. Okay, then yeah, it's not that easy. You just need to review and count it, and how many Ubhikasagata in Ahituka or like this. After the practicing, you become expert in classification according to that, and then the Abhidhamma more interested in that. As most of our learner, the lack of interest in the practice, not very long, only a few rounds you repeat it and then you remember. But if you are not doing at least a few rounds, you cannot remember, although you are repeating many hours of Abhidhamma teaching, Abhidhamma class, still missing. Many information will be missing. Okay, so I suggest you to review and count, trying to be expert. If we ask the question, who can answer, right? Okay, this is hard. We have to introduce about the immaterial plane or existence, immaterial consciousness, which is called Arūpāvacara consciousness. So better to review and trying to practice before we continue to make our effective learning. Otherwise, if we just go through and forget everything, or many hours already spent, no more remaining. Okay, so today's lesson, I am going to stop here, and thank you for your attention. Good. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Maybe could be future or need to get the access to unmute.
Oh, sorry, Seattle. I didn't unmute. Forgot that I could. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We will end the live stream here, and we will begin the question and answer session on Zoom. For all those who are watching us, may you be happy, healthy, and peaceful. May you all soon realize the eternal peace of Nirvana. We will now begin the question and answer session here.
Okay.